97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
What a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
Josh Hennig back with you here on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank in Seattle City. Of course, as always, we are live in the Matt Black Kia Studios. 1 hour, you and me. Text board is there for you. 609-403-0973 is the text board. You can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. Phillies opening weekend. Scotty Scheffler wins the Masters. UFC 273 was absolutely off the hook Saturday night. And the Sixers are going to be playing the Raptors in the first round. And all the things that go along with that because Doc Rivers put his foot in his mouth this weekend. Matisse Thybulle opens up to the media about why he will not be able to play in Toronto. So we got a lot to get to this hour here on Game Night. And don't forget, coming up in less than an hour from now, your next opportunity to qualify for Pick Your Trip, all courtesy of Phillies Sports Trips and Ernest & Son Old Fashioned Butcher Shop in Brigantine. Of course, the Eagles draft party will be held at Slack Tie Brewing Company on Route 83 in Cape May Courthouse. Sports Bash broadcasting live Thursday, April 28th. And you will have one more chance to qualify at 6:55. Listen for the sounder. And when the sounder plays, you got to be call number 7, just like Matt from Bridgeton was just a few minutes ago. So a lot to get to this hour here on 97.3 ESPN. I'm going to leave the Phillies and the UFC 273 stuff secondary because we need to touch on the Sixers first and foremost. I'm not going to shy away from calling a spade here. Doc Rivers needs to get over himself. I don't know if Doc Rivers is feeling pressure. I don't know if Doc Rivers is trying to not say certain things to the media. But Doc Rivers was completely condescending, dismissive, and disrespectful to the media when they were talking to him this weekend. I will not just let it fly that Doc Rivers thinks that he's too good to answer certain questions. Okay? And I believe I have the audio queued up at the right point here. This was Doc Rivers. So here's the context real quick. Doc Rivers, after a game in which Paul Reed had 25 points and 6 rebounds in 25 minutes of game time, he was asked about the fact that, listen, they've given Paul Reed more run in the last 3 games of the season, but the previous 3 weeks of the season, they were going heavy with DeAndre Jordan and Paul Millsap. And this has been a conversation point in not just South Jersey and Philadelphia, but all of basketball. The Sixers bench is a blight in the NBA. You listen to national shows, you watch national shows. You know that there's an issue with the bench. And we'll get to Harden in a minute because I got some things to say about James Harden as well. But I got to start with Doc Rivers. This is a guy who's won a championship. He's played in the NBA before he became a coach. He's been coaching now for, 20 years? And this is what he says to the media when he's asked a very reasonable question.
Regrets maybe not playing ball a little bit more earlier in the season?
Let me clarify this one more time for everybody who struggles with this. When there's a small lineup I'm going to say it slow so we can all pick it up. We'll play smaller with Paul. When there's a big five, you play bigger with DJ. Do we all have that now?
Up until the last 3 games, that hasn't been the case. I'm asking, would it be beneficial?
Up until the last 3 games, look at who we've been playing. Just look at it. They've had big fives in. Okay, so against big fives, because of fouling, we like DJ. Do you understand that? We have a whole coaching staff who, I'm just going to guess, knows a little bit more. And they watch every game. They watch every practice. We believe against big five, DJ is good for us. We believe against smalls, Paul. Could we play Paul with a big five? Yeah, you could. You may get in foul trouble early in a playoff game, which could swing a game. I've been around a long time. Trust that.
That's got to be one of the most condescending answers I've ever heard from a coach in my memory. Like, I can't think of a basketball coach at the professional level. Like, you know, I might have heard something like that at some point from maybe like a college or a high school coach, but I've never heard that kind of condescension from an NBA coach. Let me say it for you slowly. Let me say it again for everybody. We watch more tape than you. I've been around this game a long time. It doesn't even matter what his answer is at that point. I'm telling you right now, if Sixers ownership and Daryl Morey haven't taken Doc Rivers aside already and spoken to him in private, then they're doing a disservice to themselves. This guy cannot represent the Sixers organization with his Sixers pullover, with the Sixers logo behind him, with crypto.com and the Spectrum symbol in the post game. He can't be getting up there and coming off like this. If this is how Doc Rivers feels about getting an honest question from arguably one of the best Sixers beat writers, and they're all great. You know, we've had Keith Pompey on here, 97.3. Mike Gillis, Paul Hudrick on 2 to 3 times a week. You know, Kevin McCormick, I have him on frequently. I've had Tom Moore on. Tom's been covering the team for 30 years. There are a lot of great people, and Derek Bodner is one of them. Derek Bodner is a guy who has positioned himself as one of the go-to guys that people read in this business. He's asking an honest question. You just started playing Paul Reed recently. What goes into that? And Doc Rivers tries to turn it into well, let me tell you, all you stupid idiots, because I know more basketball than you. Here's the problem. When Paul Reed wasn't playing for 3 weeks, were they only playing big lineups? No. So first of all, Doc Rivers' answer is disingenuous. Second of all, he comes off as a smug, I'm a know-it-all jerk. He's treating the media like they're a bunch of imbeciles. And this is an answer that was broadcast on NBC Sports Philadelphia for all the fans post-game to see. This is one of the most intellectually disingenuous, intellectually dishonest answers I have ever heard in my life to a question. Doc Rivers should be ashamed of himself. Doc Rivers should personally reach out to Derek Bodner and apologize to him, or get in front of the media at some point and apologize to them. And if he doesn't, then Daryl Morey and Josh Harris are just as responsible for this malarkey as the head coach is. This is unacceptable. Listen, in the same 24-hour period that Doc Rivers basically talked down to everybody, we had the Lakers fire Frank Vogel because they needed a scapegoat, because the front office and the ownership of the Lakers doesn't want to be held responsible. Look, Rob Pelinka can say all he wants that the roster's my responsibility. How about you act like it? Jeannie Buss fired her brother from the organization and cleared out all of his friends because the organization's going in the wrong direction. Come to find out that Jeannie in one ear has Magic Johnson and the other end is Kurt Rambis' wife telling them which they think she should do with the Lakers. And Rob Pelinka goes out there and hands out a lineup that is a dumpster fire to Frank Vogel, who just won you a championship a year or two ago in the bubble, in the most bizarre environment ever for sports to be played. But it's Frank Vogel's fault the Lakers didn't make the playoffs this year? There's a report that came out from Jake Fisher from Bleacher Report, and I got to tell you, you can go read it at 973ESPN.com. If the Lakers want Doc Rivers, they can have him. Because this is unacceptable behavior for a basketball coach. If Doc Rivers can't get this team to the conference finals, he needs to be on his way out of town. You know what? Fire Doc, hire Frank Vogel. And it's not because Frank Vogel's from Wildwood. It's because I guarantee you Frank Vogel is going to give you an honest day's work and not be a condescending schmuck to the media and the fans. For all the fans out there who hated Brett Brown, I guarantee you Brett Brown would have given Paul Reed run. Maybe too much run because Brett was big on giving the young guys playing time. Doc Rivers is got an entire conspiracy potentially that everyone is drawn to why DeAndre Jordan and Paul Millsap are here, and they're not playing Bassey, and they're barely giving Paul Reed playing time. And I'll get to the Matisse Thybulle stuff in a minute, but we are days away from a series with the Raptors, which was arguably the worst matchup in these playoffs that could have gotten in the first round for the 76ers. A team with phenomenal athletes whose two best players you don't have a legitimate defensive answer for, because Siakam is a small center and a big power forward, and the Sixers don't have a guy in his size and his dimensions as an athlete to be able to man up with him. And the same thing with Fred VanVleet. VanVleet is a barely 6'1" dynamic guard. And Matisse Thybulle, who is supposed to be your best defensive player, is really not built to guard either one of those guys. So you're going into a series that's probably going to be a drag-it-out rock fight for 6-7 games. You better have a better answer than, let me tell you to you slowly, we watch a lot of tape. I've been around this game a long time. Coach Rivers. I mean, you just can't talk like that to people. I understand the media asks some weird questions and some annoying things sometimes, but this is unacceptable. For all you people who hated Brett Brown, I guarantee he never would have said that to anybody. Listen, Brett Brown might not have been a great coach, but Doc Rivers' resume doesn't give him an excuse to treat people like that. All right, on the other side, I'll get to the Thybulle and the James Harden stuff, because I got some things to say about Harden. Because I'm getting to a certain point. I want to give it away, but I'm getting to a point with Harden that I don't think a lot of people want to talk about. I understand a lot of people are frustrated with him. And I don't think anybody is stupid or slow or crazy to question him. I'm not Doc Rivers. I'm not going to tell you that you are whatever you want to say, fill in the blank for asking a question or maybe questioning, because I got questions too. And I want to touch on the Thybulle things. I'm not going to let that slide. There's something about the Thybulle situation that bothers me. So, because Thybulle will not be available to play in Toronto, for those who don't know, Canada is one of the few countries left in the world right now that requires what they call a full vaccination status in order to enter the country. Most countries that have vaccine rules and mandates in place, they give exemptions and exceptions for certain situations. Canada is not one of them. So I'm just saying there's something about Thibault's explanation that I think needs to be highlighted because, this situation with him being unavailable for a few games is going to make you wonder exactly where the Sixers are going to go in this series. I think it's going to be a 6-7 game rock fight between two teams that both have their best players who are horrible matchups for the other team because the Raptors have nobody to stop Embiid. Sixers have nobody to stop Siakam and Van Vliet or Maxey, really. I mean, I don't really think the Raptors have a great guy to stop Maxey either. But James Harden might be the key to this series. And I'm not thrilled about that. We'll also address the guys' thoughts and comments on the other side. Text support is open at 609-403-0973. You also can DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Night on 973 ESPN FM and the 973 ESPN mobile app, which is free thanks to First Bank of Seattle City.
It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app with Tim Saunders and Steve Coates calling all the play-by-play action.
Oh, big save by Carter Hart.
The Flyers are in D.C. to face the Capitals tomorrow. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey on the radio home of the Flyers in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN, and listen live on the free mobile app.
Spring into savings all month and spring out of that car you hate at Matt Blatt Nissan.
Oh yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan. Bring any trade, any make, any condition. Even if you're stuck in a loan or lease, AJ the Trade Man can get you released so you can drive home in your new Nissan today. Just because you don't see it on the lot doesn't mean you can't drive it home tomorrow. With 0 down and 0.9% financing on every new Nissan. New 2022 Titan trucks. $5,000 off. Plus, AJ the Trade Man will get you more for your trade so you can drive a brand new Nissan. And of course, the Matt Blatt Nissan Peace of Mind. 4-day love it or leave it return policy. Only at MattBlattNissan.com. On approved credit, negative equity will be refinanced if a new vehicle plus tax tag and $479 doc fee. Offers can't be combined. 0.9 for 36 months selling price. Call 877-289-6670 or go to MattBlattNissan.com for complete details. Offer ends 5/6/2022. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
You're the one who protects the flock, and that requires an eye for detail. Because when safety and well-being are on the line, it's the details that can save lives. Even when no one else is watching, you see everything. Grainger gets you, and we're here for you, and all the ones who get it done with a wide range of safety products and solutions, plus board-certified safety consultants here to answer your questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Police officers know it only takes a few seconds of someone texting and driving for things to go terribly wrong. That's why officers are increasing enforcement of texting and driving laws. So put your phone down when driving, or be prepared for the consequences. You drive, you text, you pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like the world is throwing everything it has at you, and to succeed, you need someone to guide you through. That's what Dell Technologies advisors do. They have the Windows PCs and tech advice to help you navigate whatever challenges you're up against and get you safely to where you want to be. Call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL. A start to a simpler experience with Windows 11 Pro.
Hot weather is coming, and if your central air system was struggling to keep up with last year's temperatures, or your AC electric bill was sky high, it will be worse this summer with rising energy costs. Call Jenkins Plumbing and Heating today about a new system from American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, or a high-efficiency boiler from Bosch. Take advantage of spring manufacturer rebates, along with rebates through the the HVAC Energy Efficiency Program from South Jersey Gas. Go to southjerseygas.com for more info. And to make your new system even more affordable, get up to 0% financing for up to $15,000 for 7 years. Atlantic City Electric is also helping residential customers in New Jersey increase energy efficiency and reduce the cost of heating and cooling their homes with additional rebates. So don't wait. Call Jenkins. They have units in stock, and ask about American Standard or Bosch. Call 609-641-6262. Online at jenkinsandsons.com.
Jenkins Plumbing and Heating. We're always here for you.
Welcome to Allstate, where you can really control your savings. Because when you drive less, you save more with pay per mile. So you're really in control of your savings. Only paying for the miles you drive. Yeah, life is good when you're in the driver's seat. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Not available in every state. Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company, Norfolk, Illinois.
Message and data rate may apply. Please don't text and drive.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish is...
It's pretty bad. So we're using Babbel.
Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive, bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said, now we speak Spanish.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just text radio to 64,000 to start learning a new language today. RADIO to 64,000.
O'Reilly. Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Premium Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines to dissipate heat and friction and reduce wear. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select filter for just $33.99. Try Syntec today, exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Why would someone looking for a mortgage at the Jersey Shore take a loan from a company in Detroit or North Carolina or some other far-off place? Online mortgages promise a lot, but don't always deliver. First Bank of Sea Isle City knows the Jersey Shore. We are local lenders. We use local appraisers and provide in-house processing. We understand the unique obstacles of financing in Cape May County. Don't take a chance. Local banking is better. Let us guide you. First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Don't forget, coming on 55 after this hour, your final chance on air. When you hear the sounder, you call 609-573-3776. 55 after the hour. When you hear the sounder, your chance to be call number 7 to qualify for Pick Your Trip. Of course, we'll be at the Eagles draft party, the Sports Bash Mike Gill, live Thursday, April 28th at Slack Tide Brewing Company, Route 83, just north of Cape May Courthouse. Before we get to there, we got more Sixers talk. We'll get some Phillies and some UFC 273 as well. Also, we'll hear what you guys have to say. Of course, the text board is open at 609-403-0973 is the text board. Also, you can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. So we got Reggie in Sea Isle City, Anthony in Atlantic City with you guys' messages and more in just a moment. I want to hit on Harden and Thibault just really quick before we get to you guys' messages. So Reggie and Anthony, hang tight for just a second. My beef with Harden is this. I think Harden is hurt. I am convinced that James Harden is not healthy. And whether the Sixers or he want to admit it or not, I think that ever since he got kneed in the quad on the same leg as his hamstring, he hasn't been the same guy. He has been apprehensive, the drive to the basket. He has not been the same guy when he first got to Philadelphia. And I think that him being injured is holding this team back. I think him being injured is going to be a long-term problem for this team in the postseason. I think Harden is not himself. I think that you can tell, that there are times when he goes out there and he just does not have any want to on either end of the floor. He's barely giving effort on defense at times. Almost like he's conserving all of his energy for the offensive end. And I think that that's just not good. And I think either the Sixers need to find a way to hide him defensively, or James is just to be honest with him, just be like, look, I can't be the guy you want me to be. Doc, how do we work around this? And the Sixers just have to work around it. Ideally, I don't think it would hurt the Sixers to run a zone defense moving forward. You can run zone in the NBA now, whether it's a 3-2 or a 2-3. I don't think it'd be the worst idea in the world to just tell James, look, you guard the zone. You got a zone, trap in the corner if you can. Don't worry about man-to-man. Just do the switching. Because I think that this team does not have the athletes or the type of players to go out there and play defense against many teams in this postseason. The Sixers can't depend on outscoring everybody. And I think there are times that Harden doesn't want to accept the fact that he's hurt. I think Harden at times is trying to play like he's not hurt when he is. So I think Harden needs to come to grips with reality and just say, look, guys, I'm not going to be 100% till next year. So how can we work around this? Now, maybe they have that conversation this week. They got the next few days to prepare for Saturday's Game 1 versus the Raptors. You can hear right here on 97.3 ESPN FM. But before then, they got to figure this out. Will they figure it out? I don't know. But you would hope they would. Now, here's the thing with Thibault real quick. So I understand that Thibault's explanation has brought a lot of criticism his way. For those who didn't see the full explanation, whether in written form or in video form, basically Thibault's explanation is this. His family has taken a very holistic approach to health and medicine and all those things most of his life. And the reason why he claims he got the vaccine, the first shot, was because he was under the impression that the shot was supposed to prevent people from getting sick and spreading it. And when he realized that he was misinformed, basically, I'll put some words in his mouth there, that he was misinformed about the value and the usage and the application of this Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson shot. If I remember correctly, I believe he got the Pfizer shot, was what he got, the one shot, but he hasn't gotten any follow-up since. When Thibault found out that he thought he was getting the shot under one pretense, but that pretense was incorrect, that he decided that he was uncomfortable with using the shots moving forward. Now, he also said that if he knew that this would be as problematic as it was, he might have handled his business differently. But he said that his family has taken a holistic approach to health, as from like ancient Chinese cultures and stuff like that. For those who forget, Thibault, if you follow him on his YouTube channel, he is a young man who is very self-aware. He comes from a family background who are very politically, shall I call it, active and aware. Okay. Again, not trying to play labels on anybody because I'm not one of those people. And I felt that Thibault's explanation was understandable. I think that the characterization of him being selfish, the characterization of him being stupid, and all these things, I think is very unfair. There's a lot of people in this world, whether it's Matisse Thybulle or Kyrie Irving or others, they don't trust modern medicine, okay? They look at the government, they look at big pharmaceutical, they look at doctors' offices, they look at these people as dangerous, okay? And, whether you want to like it or not, there is a history of the world where there's a lot of people who have been distrusting of these people, okay? For example, one of the pretexts of a lot of the protests, the pretext, not the application, obviously, because obviously certain things were taken out of context. But, one of the pretexts in the African American community for their distrust of big pharmaceutical and the government has to do with the fact of the Tuskegee experiments, right? You look at Asian culture, part of their distrust of the government was the government's internment of the Japanese during World War II. Part of the distrust of the government and big pharmaceutical for many people has a very dark and deep history. So, and Thibault, who's not even from this country originally, who knows exactly what they were taught in Australian schools before he came to America, or what his family taught him growing up about American culture and American history and different things that, don't fit within the mainstream narrative that people want to have. So I'm not going to criticize Thibault. I'm not going to blame him. I'm not going to call him stupid. I'm not going to be like Doc Rivers and say, let me tell you slowly, or tell him how smart we are compared to him. I'm going to sit here and say, look, it is what it is. At the end of the day, whether Thibault is available or not, it doesn't affect how this team wins or loses this series with the Raptors, in my opinion. The reason why they win or lose this series comes down to three guys. It comes down to Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and James Harden. If those three guys go out there and play at the capable level that we know they're capable of playing at, the Sixers win this series in 6-7 games. But if Embiid and Maxey show up, but the rest of the team doesn't, that's a problem. All right, as promised, get to some of you guys' thoughts and comments over on the text board, 609-403-0973. Also can DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle City. Anthony from Atlantic City chimes in and says, with Harden's struggles, is it now safe to say that he's no longer a superstar? Maybe he's a borderline all-star, or am I nuts? Anthony goes on to say from Atlantic City, Harden can no longer beat defenders off the dribble consistently. He's not getting the foul calls as of late. And he like his legs said, he's either shooting a step back three or driving floater guy. Tim Legler was on the Sports Bash earlier. If you missed it, go to 973 ESPN YouTube channel. But so here's the thing. First of all, I'm not going to call you nuts because I'm not Doc Rivers. Okay. And I'm not like some of the people who are on Philadelphia Sports Talk Radio who have spent their entire lives being condescending people who put others down to make themselves look better because they're insecure little putzes. But anyway, so Anthony Langston, I don't think you're nuts. I think you bring up an interesting point. Part of Harden's issue is that he's not getting the foul calls like he used to. I think it's a huge part of his game that I think he still is not fully adjusted to. He's not getting the foul calls at the same level he used to. Now, not that he can't get those foul calls, but I think at times he's depending on the foul calls, and when he doesn't get it, he kind of pouts a little bit as he goes down the floor, doesn't play good defense. I wouldn't say he's a borderline all-star there, only because of the fact that I think Harden is still arguably a top 20 player in this league when he's healthy. I think the problem is he's not healthy right now. Maybe he's no longer a superstar. I think that's fair to say, Anthony, Atlantic City. But like I said before, I think the problem with Harden is I don't think he's healthy. Now, someone out there may say, well, if Harden is not healthy, then how can we depend on him to be healthy long-term? Is he hitting that age maybe where his body's breaking down? Certainly possible. But I would like to see what Harden would do on a Sixers team with a full offseason, with a full training camp, with a full complement of time to know how to play with his teammates and with everybody else around him. Reggie in Seattle City chimes in and says, Doc's being condescending to a media he knows he's not going to have to deal with much longer. He already has 1 foot out the door. Also giving Harden a max deal post-prime is like Russell Westbrook 2.0 situation. They'll never get a full return on your investment. So Reggie in Seattle, if Doc already knows he has 1 foot out the door, and that's why he's acting the way he is, then he should be double ashamed of himself, because there's a long history of coaches who may have one foot out the door, but they didn't act like it. Okay. Look at Shaheen Holloway. Everyone, their cousin, knew that as soon as that team got to the second and third rounds of the tournament, he was taking the Seton Hall job. He positioned himself, thanks to that St. Peter's run, as the only person Seton Hall could hire as the next basketball coach, and it being his alma mater. But never at any point did he stop handling himself in a certain manner. Okay. There are other coaches who coached and finished out a season, but they knew they were leaving. Okay. Coach K, his retirement year this year. Look at Phil Jackson in his final year with the Bulls and his final year with the Lakers. I can make a list of coaches who they knew they were leaving, but they still coached the best. Look at Bill Parcells. He coached the Patriots in the Super Bowl knowing he was leaving them after that year, okay? And he goes to the Jets. You think Parcells didn't coach to the best of his ability? You think Parcells taking pot shots at the Patriots reporters on his way out the door because he knew to deal with them anymore? No. I think that if that's how Doc is thinking, then he should be double ashamed of himself. Now, in terms of giving Harden a max deal post-prime, there has to be a level of apprehension when giving a guy that kind of contract. Now, could you get away with, instead of maybe giving Harden a full max, maybe giving him a short-term max, being like, hey, James, you have two options. You can either pick up your option for next year, or we'll give you a 3-year contract instead of a 5-year contract. Maybe you get away with that. But I think you're right. There is always a diminishing return on investment when it comes to these guys as they age. I won't compare him to Russell Westbrook for this one reason. I think Westbrook has been given a raw deal. All right. He goes to the Rockets and was asked to do basically things that are not within his forte. They were asking him to play like a power forward, a point forward situation, that small ball lineup. Then he goes to Washington and things actually look like it might work out. But they immediately trade him because Washington wants to go on a youth movement. He goes to a Lakers team that was horribly constructed. If the Lakers' entire team wasn't built on the premise that Anthony Davis would be healthy, and they would have built the team out better instead of saying, well, we got Russ and we got Carmelo Anthony, who's way past his prime. We got LeBron and we got AD, who we hope will be healthy. And we signed Malik Monk and we got Taylor Horton Tucker here, and we're going to win a championship. Anybody in their right mind knew that was a flawed philosophy. It just blew up in their face more so than ever because, one, AD was never healthy for most of the year. And second of all, they kept asking Russell Westbrook to pick up and fill a void that he was not equipped for. So, yeah, look, Westbrook's on the downside of his career, but I think that he has now been in 2 of his last 3 spots where he's been asked to do things that is not his skill set. More message coming in here says, Josh, should the Sixers pay Harden all that money of a max contract? I don't know, man. As I said to the last message, I think that if you are the Sixers, you either just pick up you and Harden pick up that final year in his contract, maybe let the year play out, let him hit free agency again, or you give him a short-term max deal. I don't know if that's possible. Maybe Daryl Morey is too blind when it comes to Harden to be rational. I don't know if the Sixers think they have to give Harden a certain contract. Does Harden, play hardball with them and say, you give me this contract or I walk? I don't know. It's hard for me to rationalize any team giving Harden any more money than the Sixers would theoretically give him, even if they only gave him a short-term max deal. But again, that's kind of my angle on it. I wouldn't give him all that money, but it's not my money. So, but like I said, I'm convinced that Harden is not healthy. So to me, if Harden is not healthy, then again, I'm going under the working assumption that I want to see what a healthy Harden will look like on this team. Now, if your position is that he'll never be healthy and that he'll always be banged up on some level, and he's just going to be a guy who's going to be, banged up and always with some sort of injury in the injury report the rest of his career, then no, he's not a superstar. He's not worth superstar money. But can you get away with not paying him superstar money? I don't know. I personally would lean by saying I'm not giving him a 5-year supermax contract. If you can find a way to bring Harden back without paying him all that money, long term, I would do it. I just have trouble believing that you can do it because of the fact that I think that Daryl Morey being here means that Harden's going to get a contract of some sort of magnitude. Now, if Morey can be honest and rational for about 5 minutes of his life about Harden and be open-minded about how to handle him rationally, then maybe you can get away with it. By the way, really quick before we hit the break, I'll get to more of your thoughts, comments on the other side. Text port is open, 609-403-0973. You can DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. If you ever needed evidence why Joel Embiid will not win MVP, well, you can look around the league right now. It's looking more and more like Embiid's going to lose out on the MVP. He's going to lose out on NBA first team. It looks like he's just going to lose everything. The only thing he's going to walk away with is the scoring title. And that's a darn shame. I hate seeing it. I think Embiid deserves MVP and first team, but you look around the league and different reporters who are putting out, this was my first team, all NBA, how they voted, why they voted. It's looking more like the deck is against Embiid at this point. And it's a shame to see that. It's really a shame. All right, Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. We'll talk UFC 273, Phillies, and we are counting down to the final opportunity for you to qualify on 97.3 ESPN. Pick your trip. You can be a qualifier. You must be present at Slack Tie Brewing Company, or if even you're not qualified, you can still go and hang out. Maybe you get a buddy of yours who qualifies for the contest. Maybe you and your buddy work together. You to be a qualifier, whether it's on the air or not. And you can go there and one of you wins the contest. Guess what? You're both going. There's ways you can do this. By the way, Slack Tie Brewing is great. You want to go there anyway. Sports Bash broadcasting live Thursday, April 28th, 2 to 6 p.m. Slack Tie Brewing Company with the Eagles draft party. Pick your trip courtesy of Philly Sports Trips. Do Phillies road trips with the pros. Plan your trip at phillysportstrips.com. Also, pick your trip being brought to you by Ernest inside Old Fashioned Butcher Shop in Brigantine.
The playoffs are coming.
I've prepared, feels like my whole life for this stage and for these moments.
Behind the back to Giannis for the flush.
I want to see when they get punched in the mouth during the playoffs.
Walker, you bet.
How this team handles adversity.
The playoffs are coming. The NBA playoffs, exclusively on 97.3 ESPN FM, South Jersey's sports leader.
Spring into savings all month and spring out of that car you hate at Matt Blatt Kia in Egg Harbor Township or Toms River. We'll take any trade, any make, any condition, even if you're stuck in a loan or lease. Matt Blatt Kia can get you released. Do you have a job? Do you clear $350 per week? You could be approved with 0 down and low interest rate financing on every clearly marked new Kia in stock. And remember, we have new Kias arriving daily. Just because you don't see it on the lot doesn't mean mean you can't be driving your new Kia home tomorrow. So bring any trade to Matt Platt Kia, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. And don't forget, you can't make a mistake with our 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
It's gotta be a Matt Black Kia.
Offers with approved credit through Kia Motors Finance. Not all will qualify. Go to mattblackkiamj.com for complete details. Expires 5/8/2022. Matt Black Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township. And now on Route 37 in Toms River.
Goodbye, bench press. Adios, squat rack. Fare thee well, kettlebell.
Hey, Kellen, need a spot?
No, Jake from State Farm. I'm just saying goodbye to my pricey gym membership.
What? Don't give up what you love. State Farm has options like insuring your home and ride with great rates on both.
Nice. Hey, can I buy you a protein shake or a granola bar? Or
for surprisingly great rates, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
How many of you have pets? Now think about how lucky you are to have such a sweet little pet in your life. But unfortunately, there are countless pets out there that don't have a home to call their own. However, Bob's from Skechers is trying to change that. With every purchase of adorable Bob's footwear, apparel, or pet accessories, Skechers makes a donation to Petco Love. And with your help, we've already saved the lives of over 1 million pets and donated over $7 million. Find Bob's at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, select Petco locations, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Do you want the best for your car? Then fill up with premium at Circle K. Circle K Premium is our best fuel with double the cleaning detergent, protecting your engine from corrosion and damage so it can work at its best. And that, my friend, increases your mileage for more cha-ching in your pocket. Plus, when you fill up with premium at Circle K, you can save up to 20 cents per gallon. Offer valid Thursdays or Fridays at participating stores. For details, visit CircleK.com. Circle K. How convenient.
South Jersey has been traveling with Philly sports trips for years. Don't miss summer baseball trips to San Diego and Pittsburgh and big trips to Arizona and Chicago this fall for the Birds. For any diehard Philly fan listening, it's time to check out the full trip lineup at phillysportstrips.com. They take care of the flight, hotel, game tickets, and throw the best tailgates around. Philly Sports Trips knows South Jersey and is even partnering with the famous Ernest & Son Meat Market and Brigantine. Make this season the best one yet. Book a trip at phillysportstrips.com.
Welcome to Allstate, where you can really control your savings. Because when you drive less, you save more with pay per mile. So you're really in control of your savings, only paying for the miles you drive. Yeah, life is good when you're in the driver's seat. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Not available in every state. Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company, Norfolk, Illinois.
This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like the world is throwing everything it has at you. And to succeed, you need someone to guide you through. That's what Dell Technologies advisors do. They have the Windows PCs and tech advice to help you navigate whatever challenges you're up against and get you safely to where you want to be. Call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL. A start to a simpler experience with Windows 11 Pro.
Ah, Easter, the season for pink grass and chocolate bunnies. But Walgreens knows it's also the jelly beans taste like what season? Or how many baskets is too many season? Let Walgreens fill your baskets fast with pickup in as little as 30 minutes and delivery in as little as 1 hour. Because if it's who hides an egg there season, it's Walgreens season.
This week, select varieties of Easter jelly bean candy bags are 2 for $6. Offer valid through April 17th with My Walgreens. Restrictions apply on offer and pickup and delivery. See Walgreens.com for details.
So in life, throws you uh-ohs. Just to save, better get Mako.
Go to Mako.com for an online estimate today.
With basketball season in full swing and UFC every weekend, it's time for you to experience sports betting done right at the FanDuel Sportsbook inside Bally's Atlantic City Casino and Resort. Get in on all the games you love at the FanDuel Sportsbook located right off the Atlantic City Boardwalk. The retail sportsbook features 5 betting windows, a large video wall, 20 self-service betting kiosks, and much more. Get your game face on and score big when you bet with FanDuel Sportsbook only at Bally's Atlantic City Casino and Resort. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
5 minutes away from your final chance today to qualify with the Sounder at 55 after the hour. Pick your trip. You're on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Let's get one more message in here before we get to a little UFC 273. Matt in K-May Courthouse says, I say you pay Harden, let him get fully healthy, fill out the roster, and give it a true run at a next year. I definitely want them to win this year, Matt in K-May Courthouse says, but being realistic about it, not sure they are built for a title this year. The coach and the roster aren't a complete product. Yes, from Matt in K-May Courthouse. Well, I think that if they don't get to a conference final, I think Doc Rivers is out of town for sure. I think that they're not healthy and they're not built to win a championship this year. You're right, Matt K-May Courthouse. You know, you want to see them make a better run at it next year. And the theory is that they could do that. The question is, you know, in what form or manner will they do that? And with what head coach would they do that with? So a lot of variables to figure out there. By the way, the Phillies just a compound of errors over here. You know, bad throw to first base. Everyone's chasing after the ball. It's just an absolute mess. They got men on second and third with one out, or just a strange series of events there for the Phillies. Poor Ranger Suarez. He's on first inning, first game of the year versus the Mets, and your defense just choked. Philly season's going to be a roller coaster ride, that's for sure. Before we get out of here, I do want to get into UFC 273. Incredible card. Yes, my pick was wrong. I told you guys my big pick was Gilbert Burns outright. And listen, you know, I think that it's one of those things where I think that Burns put up an amazing fight. I think that some of the judges who definitively gave the fight to Hazmat were just ridiculous. To me, I felt that Hazmat won the first round, Burns won the second round, and then the third round was dependent on your perspective. You know, I scoring wise would have gone like this. You know, if I'm doing, you know, the math off the top of my head, actually, I'll pull up a calculator so I'll mess it up. I would have given Hazmat the first two rounds, but I would have given him an 8 in the second round. I would have given Burns a 10-8 in that round, which means I would have had it a draw, 28-28. But I thought that Burns, he probably could have handled his business a little differently in the third round. I think it would have helped his cause and maybe winning that round to win the fight. I think the fact that Burns knocked him with over 100 significant strikes in the fight shows that Chimaev is definitely ready for the big time. I don't know if he can take that kind of punishment again, though. You know, we've seen guys take serious punishment in one fight, and then the next fight they become a little vulnerable because they think they're invincible. So we'll see how Chimaev does in his next fight. Now, when it comes to the title fights, I'm so happy to see Sterling win. Aljamain Sterling is a guy who's worked his tail off, coming back from a ridiculously difficult injury. He has an artificial disc put into his spine. People told him he might never fight again. He goes out there, wins the belt. I think Peter Yan and the people on Twitter who are outraged over Sterling winning the fight need to chill out. Okay, Sterling won three of the 5 rounds. It's just a question of which of the 3-5 rounds are you picking from? Are you saying that Sterling won the first 3 rounds and Yan picked up the final 2? Are you saying that Yan won rounds, 1 and 4, and then you're saying the 5th round was the coin flip? It depends on what perspective you have on the fight. To me, I thought Sterling did an amazing job. I think Yan needs to go back to the drawing board and find out a better way to handle what Sterling has to offer. And then the main event, Alexander Volkanovski is looking more and more like the, Jose Aldo 2.0 almost. Like, this guy feels like he's unstoppable. I don't know if there's anybody in the UFC today that can deal with him. I don't know who that person can be. I don't know if even Max Holloway is that guy anymore. I'm getting to the point with Volkanovski where I don't know who is the person to stop him. He's that good right now. Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN Mobile, powered by First Bank of Seattle City. Your final chance to qualify for Pick Your Trip is right now. I'm looking for caller number 7 at 609-573-3776. 609-573-3776. Pick Your Trip is back, and the Eagles draft party will be this year live with the sports back from Mike Yell at Slack Tie Brewing Company on Route 83 just north of the Cape May Courthouse, where one lucky listener will win a trip for 2 to a 2022 Eagles road game of their choice, which includes airfare, hotel stay, pregame tailgate, and 2 tickets to the Eagles road game of your choice, all courtesy of Phillies Sports Trips. Check them out at phillysportstrips.com, and also Ernest Son's Old Fashioned Butcher Shop in Brigantine. Caller number 7 at 609-573-3776. You will be a qualifier. Pick Your Trip. Slack Tie Brewing Company, Thursday, April 28th. Good luck!